Alright, Claude Harris here. I want to walk you through the endowment reports. Very excited about going through this report with you. We ran this on a sample student, so I kind of want to walk you through this now. If you like KU more than MU or MU more than KU, I'm not going over these numbers to create any kind of confusion. I just want to have some fun and go through this endowment report. So you got KU here, which is a public school. You got good old MU, which is a public school. But then you have a school right here in the middle, which is a private school, which is WashU, which is in St. Louis, Missouri. And so if you look here, there's a misconception. The misconception here is private schools cost more money to go to than public schools. When I grew up, going from kindergarten through the 12th grade, it's always been known that private schools cost more money to go to than public schools, so I get it. But the thing that people don't understand is that's not always true when it comes to college planning. So what I want to do is walk you through how to compare a private school to a public school and how to really focus in on the endowments, because the endowments are very critical when it comes to college planning. So let's go ahead and jump through this report. You'll see here at KU, tuition and fees, room and board and all that equals about $37,000. WashU is $63,894 to be exact, and then MU is $24,704. Okay, so we use a inflation factor. Inflation, you guys, just quick financial education, means how much it goes up from year to year. So they go up, we just use across the board 5%. Some schools go up more, less. Average is 5%. 42,000 is what that goes up to if you're graduating in 2017, 2018, for going to those schools. So we take that number and we just inflate it to the future cost. Okay, so now we're looking at 2017, 42,000 a year, 73,000 a year, 28,000 a year. Okay, if I'm a parent, I'm looking at this 73,000. I'm thinking there's no way I'm going to spend almost $300,000 to send my child to college over a 4-year period of time. It's just not happening. But what we want to get you to understand is the power of the endowment. So if you go here, you have what is called EFC. That's your expected family contribution. So I'm going to flip real quick over to another report. So you'll see here that this family has an expected EFC family contribution of $80,000. So their family's income is $80,000. Husband, wife, one person, whatever. And so then we look at all your exclusions. These are your deductions that reduce your actual amount of your adjusted gross income down. So when you take tax deductions on your income taxes, your exclusions are things that are reduced from the total cost of your EFC, or the total calculation of the EFC, I should say. So you have your U.S. income tax exclusion, your state tax allowance exclusion, your FICA, income protection allowance, and all that stuff. And so if you notice, if you navigate down, that actually went down to $36,563. So that is a number that is truly used to calculate your family's EFC. That's based on family size, income, assets, and all that. And so then there's also a thing here called an asset protection allowance, and that's basically how much money you can have in liquid cash to make sure that you don't disqualify your child for financial aid. I say this all the time in workshops. If you have money that's in a rental property, oftentimes those schools will look at that rental property, the equity in that rental property, as an asset that you can pull from to send your child to college. So there's things you can do to reposition that asset. You could possibly put it into an LLC so the company owns it and not you individually. There's a lot of other things that you can do with your assets to reposition those before the base year, which is January of their junior year, to make sure that you don't fall back in that category of being looked upon as making moves too close to their retirement, too close to their graduation from high school. So, and I apologize, to help people with retirement stuff too. So so basically you come down here, your EFC is $11,294. okay, and so that's what they're going to have to pay out of their own pocket, be it a Parent Plus loan or if they got a full scholarship. That EFC would be picked up last dollar from the scholarship. If not, that's a Parent Plus loan typically is what we see the families doing to offset that, because that's not going to get financed in the financial aid from the university directly. You're going to have to get some outside loan to cover that expense. All right, let me jump back over here. So now I beat that dead horse. Now you understand how that EFC is calculated, asset protection allowance, and all the good stuff. So if you notice, The public school's EFC is 11,294 for KU for this family's example, and then 11,294 for MU. And then the private school has a lower EFC because they calculate it off of an institutional methodology as opposed to federal methodology. I'm not going to go through that today, but that's how they calculate it. Okay, so now if you subtract those two, which is your cost of attendance, 42,000 from the EFC, then now this is what your aid eligibility. So normally when you get a letter back from the college, you'll get one letter that will actually be your acceptance letter, and then the second letter you normally receive is called your award letter. So if you are in our program, this ACT Prep and Endowment program, we'll actually run this report for up to 5 colleges, and this is kind of giving you a sneak peek of what the award letter could potentially be like that would come back from the universities. Now, why is this important to know this up front? Because if you want to use a technique called college leveraging, you can actually now take these reports and see the schools that are going to offer you more money in financial aid and use that money from other award letters to leverage against the primary school you want to go to. And we have that already built in our program, but I just wanted to point that out, that this is very important for you to know these numbers so you can use it to negotiate, to know how much it's going to take for you on your ACT test scores to get into these colleges, how to maximize the endowment, and the list goes on. Okay, so if you look here again, they take the cost of attendance, 42,000, they subtract out the EFC, which is 11,294, and then you're eligible to receive in financial aid 31,588. Now look at this. This is a public school, this is KU. Now these are average awards. Every case is different, but this is national data that we pull that shows you what their average award looks like per student. Okay, so you need 31,000. They give you on average 52%. So that means you're getting 16,000 from their financial aid. That means you're short 31,000 minus 16,000, about $15,000 you're short. That's unmet need, okay, that you're not getting from the university's direct financial aid department. And so if you come here under WashU, which is a private school, you've got basically 63,000 that you need. 100% is what they offer you in their financial aid packages, which all come from the university, and out of that 63 that you need, you get 63. So would you rather get 52% of the financial aid that you need, or would you rather get 100%? So we want to help you with these reports so you don't just look at the sticker price and let that drive you away from the university, but really look at the award percentages that these schools give you to see financially which school is best suitable for you and your child. Okay, and then this school here, which is MU, does an average of 79% off of the national data. So there's shortfall here. There is no shortfall for this one. You're getting 13,000 when you need 17, so your shortfall, your unmet need, is 3,582. There is no shortfall for WashU. Okay, tougher to get into WashU. That's why the ACT is very important to know what that guideline is. But if you can get into WashU financially, it can change everything for you. So if you go down here to your immediate out-of-pocket costs, your immediate out-of-pocket cost is $26,456. And let me show you how they got that number. They took the EFC, which is again what the government says you have to pay, and then they actually took the shortfall between 31 and 16, which is 15. So 11,294 plus that 15 equals that 26,456. So if you come here, the EFC is 10,180. That's all you have to cover is a 10,180. Okay, and so then if you come here, the EFC is 11,294. The difference between 17,304 and the 13 that they're going to give you leaves you 3,582 short, which is unmet need. And so you add that 3,582 plus the 11, you come up to the 14,000. So if I looked at the colleges up here, I would maybe choose going over to MU as opposed to going to any of them because it's a lot cheaper. But when you look at the immediate out-of-pocket costs, the private school is actually $10,000, well actually $4,000 cheaper than the school that looked like they were about $50,000 cheaper. You follow me on that? And if you look here, I want to show one more thing. 57,000 of that money comes from their endowment. Means you don't have to pay that money back. They give you $57,000 in endowment money, non-repayable, because they have big endowment funds, where this school here has 9,527 and this school here has 7,863. So I mean, those are things that parents must know. Let's go down a little bit deeper. If you look here on the graduation rates, 4-year graduation rates is really all I'm concerned about looking at for a bachelor's degree. There's a 36% 4-year graduation rate, 88% 4-year graduation rate, 47% 4-year graduation rate. Now I just want to break this down. I really don't do this that often, but I want to show you something here. If we see that number under 50%, that means 3 out of 10 people will graduate in 4 years. So it may be a high probability that it could take you 5 years. You could come out in 4. I'm not saying you won't, but it could take you literally 5 years to graduate from that university. So let's just say, for example, in this situation, you took 20. Let's say 25,000, just to keep it simple. 25,000 times 5 years is 125,000 bucks. If I take this, because there's an 88% 4-year graduation rate, times 4 years, that's $40,000 immediate out-of-pocket costs. Which school is a lot cheaper? $40,000 or $125,000? You do the math. Now, if you come here, there's a 47% graduation rate in 4 years. So let's say that's 5 out of 10. So that's a high probability you probably could pull it off in 4 years. So let's take 14,000. 14,000 times 2 is 28. That's 56,000 compared to 40. It's still $16,000 cheaper. So those are the things that we want to be able to explain to you when we do these reports as far as the endowment reports. Okay, that's all I have for you right now in regards to the endowment report.